Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing Star Wars The High Republic, Tempest Runner by Cavan. This is a little bit slightly different book than I normally would read because it originally wasn't a book. It was actually kind of an audio play that was released as a part of the High Republic series. And it was actually last year during Dragon Con. I think right before that it came out. It's almost about a year ago. I heard from some people at Dragon Con, because that's what a lot of people were talking about who just had a chance to listen to it. They really enjoyed it, but I just never got around to listening to the audio play. I'm not a real big audio book person, so I know the audio play is slightly different because it just was a straight up audio book, but it just kind of always got put in my back burner and I kind of forgot about it. Then at some point, I actually don't know when, because I missed the news they were going to do this. I was at the local bookstore and I saw they'd actually released a book version of it. So, oh, that's cool. I'll definitely probably get to it as a book version quicker than I would at the audio version. So I picked up this copy and I just had a chance to read it and I really enjoyed it. So time-wise in the High Republic series, if you've been reading the series so far, is set between books 2 and 3 of the adult books in the series, which is The Rising Storm and The Falling Star. Let me just double check that to make sure. Yes, The Rising Storm and The Fallen Star was correct. So it's between books 2 and 3 of, again, the adult novels in the High Republic series. And the book focuses primarily on Lorna Dee, who is one of the Tempest runners, or kind of the top generals of the Nile. And it basically explores her backstory. So I enjoyed those aspects of it, because so far, in the Nile, we really haven't got a whole lot of backstories of any of the characters and where they came from, how they became the Nile, what was their motivation, what they're hoping to accomplish. In this, you really do get Lorna Dee's, her entire life and where she started out, what kind of motivated her to kind of go to the criminal side. How did she get hooked up with the Nile? How did she rise to power within the Nile? All those other dynamics with the other leaders of the Nile. Found it very interesting. She was I know the series, The High Republic, she's been a very interesting character, so I really enjoyed getting to learn more about her and the various sides of her. And during this book, it's kind of teased, she could easily go good or she could go bad. And it's kind of interesting to see why she chooses what she does. I will say, kind of talking about the book in general, since it was set up initially as an audio play, this is just a straight adaptation. It wasn't like this book was redone and turned to a book. So when you read it, it's actually giving you sound directions and exactly how it would have been there. So it's like, oh, this shit comes in, this is what it should sound like. That type of stuff. So it's clearly like you're just reading the script for the audio play with almost the stage directions, which is different. It takes you a little bit to get used to it, but I kind of enjoyed it a lot because a lot of times when you're reading a book, they don't really focus on stuff like this is what the engine sounds like, this is how it's different from this other engine, this is what the wildlife sounds like, or this is what their voices sound like, and that type of stuff. It's not really something that usually is focused on in books. It's usually something you have to wait till there's a TV or movie adaptation of the story to kind of get those aspects of the atmosphere. So I enjoyed getting that, hearing oh, this is how a Nile ship sounds differently than a Republic ship. It was kind of very interesting to kind of explore. Something I really hadn't thought of, but when I was writing, this kind of puts me more in the story. I feel more immersed in it because I enjoyed that. Again, it took me a little bit to kind of get used to how it was written because you are, again, reading a script more versus just a straight up book. But overall, still really enjoyed it. So I'd say if you enjoy the High Republic series, definitely check this out. If you haven't read any of the High Republic series yet, I would not recommend starting with this book. It's pretty deep in the series, and a lot of the stuff it's referencing you won't get. So this is, I think, for your die-hard High Republic fans, you'll really enjoy this. If you haven't listened to the audio play, which I still haven't had a chance to yet, I would recommend it based on what other people have told me. But if you're more of a book reader and you don't really initially are into audiobooks, kind of like me, I would definitely recommend checking out the book version of it. I really enjoyed it. So that's kind of my review of The Tempest Runner by Cavan. I don't want to get a whole lot in the plot because it's more of a character exploration of Lorna Dee is the more important part, but there is a plot. I don't want to mislead you, but the more interesting aspects of the book are exploring her character how she got where she is and where she's going in the future. So if you enjoyed that character, I think you'll really enjoy the Tempest Runner. So that's my review. Let me know, have you listened to the audio play version of this? I'd be interested to hear your feedback if you have. And what is your attitude, audiobooks versus the physical copies? Are you more of a fan of audiobooks, or are you more like me that prefer the old-fashioned page versions? Anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, hit that like button. If you have yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. I'll see you the next time. Happy reading, and may the force be with you.